I think what's fascinating is you have this catcher market where the Cardinals did meet with Wilson Contreras in Florida. And so if you're reading the tea leaves of the teams that are interested in Wilson Contreras, you're hearing a lot of Cardinals, Astros, Guardians. I don't think the Guardians are going to spend any money. So I would think it's going to come down to Cardinals and Astros. And so the Astros plan on meeting with Wilson Contreras at the winter meetings, which start on Sunday. So you got to think nothing's going to happen until Wilson Contreras meets at least with the Astros. But when you look at the catchers in free agency, to me, if the Cardinals sign Contreras and you look at the deals that these other catchers get that are kind of around his talent level, and I'm not putting JT Realmuto in there because he's much, much better because he's elite defensively and offensively. But like Salvador Perez, 4 years, $82 million. Yasmani Grandal, 4 years, $73. I mean, that's what you're going to pay about that. 4 years, 70, 75-ish probably for Wilson Contreras. And if the Cardinals don't get him, their next option free agency, it's not guys making a lot of money. So I think what's interesting, so like if you go Tucker Barnhart or Christian Vasquez, my point is if they don't sign Wilson Contreras, I feel like the Cardinals will have a decent amount of money then to spend at a different position. Like I don't think they're going to spend that much more than about $20 million. And if they sign Contreras, almost all of that goes to one player.
Yeah. Which is why I've said in the beginning, priority. Like that's why I brought up Tucker Barnhart. Like if they spent money or invested in their other currency, young players, to bring in a big bat in the middle of the order as their priority, you're probably not going to get a Contreras. You may not even get one of the other guys that are out there that you think are tradable in terms of a catcher, and you end up with a Tucker Barnhart, which I'd be fine with if they had the bat. To me, that should be the priority. And of all the catchers out there, I think I like Murphy the best. If you're going to do that, I might not go big on a contract with Contreras, who is offensively for a catcher is great, but he doesn't really change your batting order. I think Murphy's better defensively, too, than Contreras. That's the guy who I find appealing.
Contreras defensively isn't terrible, average-ish, has a great arm.
Good arm, and that's it, though.
But not as great receiving.
Oh, okay.
But he's a very above-average offensive player. He also is coming off a career year, so he's going to get paid. But like Christian Vasquez is a good second option. So SpotTrack predicts him to get a deal around 3 years, 20-ish million. So if it's somewhere in that ballpark, again, you're talking 3 years, $20 million for Christian Vasquez potentially, and a 4-year, $65, $70, $75 million deal probably for Contreras.
If you could have any catcher that, of all the names that are alleged options, who would you pick?
I would probably choose Murphy, personally. But I'd be fine with Contreras. But
again, that would absorb more of the money. And they got money to play with, so let's not pretend they don't. They got plenty of money to play with, but you get the sense if they invest in one of the big ticket free agents, which he will be, at least, for his position, maybe that takes away from what they're willing to allocate elsewhere.
Yeah, I think if they sign, I could be wrong, but if the Cardinals sign Wilson Contreras, I don't think they do almost anything else.
Really?
Maybe a bullpen arm. Okay, could you bring back a Quintana? That's not nothing in terms of money. Quintana, will you make a 2-year deal for $20 million? Whatever that is. But I think if they sign Wilson Contreras, that's their big move.
It's December 2nd, and here we are with the Cardinals with no moves and a president of baseball operations openly saying, without saying it directly as always, that Tommy Edman is your shortstop. Tommy Edman is your shortstop going into 2023. And a typical we'll see if the market changes garbage, money saver answer, then I see that they're in talks with Contreras. Can we take boneheaded moves by Mozeliak and the Cardinals upper management for $500, Alex?
First off, I don't really get. And Charlie, tell me if I'm wrong on this. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I will.
Mm-hmm. I like if they could get Trey Turner, I'd be great. If they could get the guy from Atlanta, I'm great with that. But if you're the Cardinals and you have Tommy Edman to plug in at shortstop, who's going to be better defensively, who's a good offensive player. Look at the WAR, which is one of the things that people look at. He's as good as any of them, right? I mean, I like Swanson a lot, but I'm pretty sure Tommy's WAR is better than Swanson. You put him in short, then you have all these other options at second base, including Donovan, who's a Gold Glover as a utility guy, or Gorman, who has great potential as a stopgap because you got Wynn coming. I don't think it's crazy for them to not go into the really deep water financially on a shortstop. Am I crazy?
You are not crazy, but I would retort that with this. When in the Cardinals' recent history do they ever shell out $200 million for a player? Now, they have tried. If you go back to Albert, if you go back to David Price, if you go back to Jason Hayward, those offers were in that neighborhood. My point is more so, when does that ever happen for the Cardinals? Now, if they surprise me, I'll be the first one to say, gosh darn it, great job. But like when I go through my YouTube comment sections and I see all these people wanting Trey Turner, do you really think the St. Louis Cardinals are going to pay? It's probably going to be $34 to $35 million per year.
Whoa.
On at minimum a 6-year deal. So that's, I would bet right now, Trey Turner's contract starts with a 2 for sure. It's $200 million. Is that a deal the Cardinals do?
No,
they don't do that.
Unless
they don't do that.
Because you know what though, if they identify this guy as a guy will be with them a long time that they absolutely need, but I could see them looking at other options and going, is it worth putting that kind of money when we have these other options that can give us great return? You know, it's about efficiency. And I don't get me wrong, if I'm with Charlie, if they sign that deal with Trey Turner, I'd be happy about it. But I understand if you have other options like Tommy Edman at short. I'm telling you, he's going to win a Gold Glove there. What do you think?
Well, Gino said Edman is not a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. His range is limited to the left because of his arm strength. He is an absolute elite defensive second baseman. Gino.
I looked this up last night, though. He is an absolutely elite second baseman, Gold Glover, but he's a pretty dang good shortstop by the numbers. I'm not saying he'll win a Gold Glove at short, but he's pretty dang good. He's not a below average defensive shortstop.
I like Tommy Edman, man. I do.
I think he wins a Gold Glove if he's here for the whole season, and he's going to give you decent offensive numbers where the end up with the WAR is going to be as good as any of them.
The Ukraine war?
Please, let's not joke about that.
We never do. Nate, what's on your mind back there? You're smirking.
Spend some money, baby.
Spend that money.
Open the wallet and spend some money. I like the Contreras. Definitely that the talks are intensifying according to some of the latest reports yesterday. And if you get Contreras in the fold, I hope that that's not all they do. I still think that they need a guy at the top of their rotation who's not coming off of injury that could go into a series and you know who's going to be the game one starter, not like, is he going to be this guy? Is he going to be that guy? And while I hear all of the I understand everything about Tommy Edman. Before people even said that Tommy Edman could play short, I said he could play short. He'd be a fine shortstop. I think if you want to move this team to become a legit contender in the National League, you got to do one of two things. You either need to have, in addition to Contreras, you either need to have an all-star shortstop or you need to have an all-star center fielder. You've got to get one of those two positions on an elite level. And that's not very, very good. I'm talking elite.
Does it have to be a center? Look, does it have to be a center fielder, or can it be an all-star with a big bat?
Okay, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying. And so we're in agreement. That's what I think is their biggest priority.
Yeah.
And I think they get that. They're legitimate contenders no matter what else they do. They will get another catcher as well. But to me, that's the number one priority. A rotation, I understand what you're saying, but I think if you bring back Quintana or something, because they got a lot of numbers in that starting rotation, and I think they're going to have enough, and I think it's going to be a good rotation.
What about DeGrom on a short-term deal where you pay more per year, like the Scherzer thing, where you look at the number and you go, "Holy smokes!"
What do you think it would cost?
I think it'd be very close to what Scherzer got. You know, what was that? A 2-year, like $80-something million?
No, 3-year, $130.
3-year, $130.
God. Guys.
Okay.
I mean, it's not my money, so I would do it.
Oh, I love it. I love the idea. I just don't think they'll do it.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that idea.
But I think the Cardinals are in a position where they realize. I mean, Mo's not a dumb guy. I mean, he understands things, and I think if he's honest with himself, he's looking at his roster, knowing that they got to play some bottom feeder teams last year, which probably bumped up their season total to 90-something games. And when you got into the playoffs, there was a bit of exposure.
See,
And
I see what you're saying. I think they look at the roster and they go, "We don't have the Pujols magic now." Like,
Where's that gonna come from?
Where are those runs? To me, like
That's huge.
If I'm a baseball guy working for an organization, I go, "Wait, what were Pujols' second half numbers? Let me do. Where's that coming from?" So that
know.
would be my priority.
They're also going, hey, without Pujols and the 700 homers, that's an extra 3,000 to 5,000 fans and giveaways and bobbleheads and selling that bad boy
That's
out.
right, dude. There's a lot of attention, packed house all the time.
It was unbelievable.
I know. It was so damn loud. Guys, the Tampa Bay freaking Rays just spent 40 schmil on a relief pitcher. Stop telling me the Cardinals don't have the cash to sign a shortstop or a halfway decent outfielder or, I don't know,
No one said
a
it.
number one starting pitcher.
No one said. No one on this
I
dais
love reading
even
those.
came close to saying
I love
they
it.
don't have the money to do it.
I know.
Everybody on this show wants them. Let's just throw it out there. Let's just have fun. It's Christmas time. Here's the Christmas list. Everybody on this show wants them to sign either DeGrom or Verlander, also Contreras, and also Trey Turner.
Ohtani? Oh, what?
So right there, I think that's $500 million.
yes.
I'll right now say I want them to do that, but
economy's
they're
good.
not going to.
They're not going
I
to
tell you what, though, Nate, if they could get DeGrom on a 3-year,
yeah.
I'm kind of like jumpy on that. I like it.
If your offseason was DeGrom, Contreras, and Bellinger, I think I'd give them a pretty good grade.
But they're not going to do all of that.
Give them
If
a
they
good
got
grade.
DeGrom and a decent catcher to put back there with Kisner or take the bulk of the starts, even if they get DeGrom, like that's a pretty big upgrade. They're still going to have to get another bat.
Tyler O'Neill. We got Tyler.
He got T-Down.
You really don't like him, do you?
No, it's not that I don't like him. It's just I've never really thought that he's actually going to be a sustainable player in the big leagues.
Because of injuries or because
Injury, and I think his I don't think his patience at the plate. Like, look at the guy. Like, he swings. He still can't lay off anything that's hard and away from him.
See, I think he's gotten a little better. The injury thing I totally get if people question that. But here's the thing about him. His bat speed is really good. And you talk to guys, other players and stuff, even guys that, aren't like trying to pump him up or saying, no, that guy legitimately, if he can stay on the field, he's going to give you numbers.
Last couple here, and we're going to go to break because we got the big dog coming up here. Guys, I have on pretty good authority that the Cardinals have met with many of the free agent catchers over the past 2 weeks. The Contreras meeting is being reported because he's a flashy name, Kyle. We love Kyle. Great guy.
Well, they're going to meet with everybody.
Yeah,
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Nate, it isn't pitch hard. Nate, it isn't a pitch hard and away from him. It's the pitch up in the heat that he struggles with. You can just look at the heat labs. O'Neill,
Oh,
Jesus, Kyle,
right.
come on.
Well, okay, thank you. That's very observant of you.
What do you even
Tell
say
me
there?
that he can't lay off the slider down and away either. I mean, what?
Kyle.
We're fighting between apples and oranges here. I mean, yeah, he has terrible plate discipline.
Yeah.
How about that? Let's put a blanket
All
over
right.
the whole thing.
All right. Yeah, man. Hey, we got a lot coming. I want some action. That's what I want. Charlie,
Still had a lot more homers per at bat than Bellinger did.
let's get Kiz's input on the subject. Well, we will. Cam's daddy. Oh, you changed your name. What do you got over there? We got to go to break.
Here's Kiz's input. Every Tuesday, we interview him, and we love him, and he's a great guy. And then for the rest of the week, we all talk about replacing him.
No.
No.
Well,
We
hey,
talk about getting help for him. That's what we
Listen.
talk about. Getting help.
there is nothing wrong. If Andrew Kisner's ceiling is a 10 to 12-year Major League Baseball backup catcher, he's going to make a lot of money and have a great career.
Damn right.
And you know what? Maybe he becomes a starter or more of a timeshare catcher. but he's a big league player.
Yeah, and we love him.
He's already showed that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this, the upside with Kisner offensively is pretty big. Because, look, if you're a guy who's trying to back up Yachty and be the guy that knows all the scouting and everything, you're focusing on that, just being a serviceable, reliable backstop. I'm telling you, offensively, if he gets a chance, he'll figure it out. Now, I'm not saying the Cardinals should go all in on that because that probably wouldn't be the smartest thing to do. But I'm telling you, along the line in his career, he's going to have better offensive numbers, much better.
I hope so.